An American woman recently celebrated her 116th birthday.
That's a long time.
Amazing, but she's not as unusual as you might think.
Well, Gertrude Weaver, officially the oldest living American and the second oldest person in the world, is part of a fast-growing segment of the U.S. population, people who are 100 years old or older.
VOA's Julie Taboh caught up with 3 of these centenarians to learn their secrets to a long life, and we couldn't wait to find out those lessons for ourselves. Take a look.
I played the piano and sang. I was in New York. I was at the Pierre Hotel, which is beautiful.
Each one of the people that I had the privilege of interviewing has their own unique take on what life is for them and what makes it worth living for them. And for Marianne was music, but it's like so many other things. There's so much more. She not only plays music, all from memory, but she also wrote about 130 of her own songs. But she comes to this community center in Friendship Village where she lives, and it's a joy for her to come for 1 hour a week, play her piano. Everyone comes from all over to have tea and coffee and cookies and just listen to her playing. And she just says it's something that just one of the many things, but one of the main things that keeps her going.
And so amazing too to see these 3 that you focused on and their level of energy. I mean, it's just remarkable. So let's talk about George.
Poor people didn't have automobiles. We walked everywhere. We walked to school, we walked to church, we walked to the store, we walked to visit. And by walking 4 and 5 miles every day, I think had a lot to do with conditioning my body.
George Vargas was really inspiring. We caught up with him at Veterans Administration where he spends 5 days a week and then he goes home on the weekend. His wife Dorothy, who's 97, takes care of him on the weekends, and then he's at the hospital the rest of the week. And when I got talking to him, it was just amazing how much he revealed. First of all, growing up in Texas, he lost his parents at a very young age, so he and his sister were living with relatives. And they had these strict rules about work and school and church. And then he met his wife, Dorothy, and married her just before he went off to fight in World War II. And as an African American, back then, the country was so deeply segregated. He talks about how it was implied, and in some cases very clearly told him that as a black soldier, they did not have the same expectation of him as the other soldiers.
It was thought that black soldiers could not live up to expectations of the other soldiers. But we proved during the Battle of the Bulge that that was a false assumption. We stayed and we fought. We won.
That's what's so fascinating, really, about talking to people who have lived these long lives, is that they've really lived through what we now consider to be history.
Exactly. I mean, he is living proof of a veteran who served honorably in his country and was so brave. When I asked George what was one of his most memorable memories of his experience in Battle of the Bulge, he said it was so cold. And he said, we just figured there was nothing to lose, and we were just going to fight to the end. And he just was amazed, and he said it was a miracle that he survived.
Such an incredible life, and married for more than 70 years. That's amazing. But I want to talk now about Madeline Brown, who was never married.
Why should I marry one man and make him miserable when I could stay single and make them all happy?
That pretty much summed up her whole philosophy on life, is that she's there to just love people and enjoy people. She's a cancer survivor, so she went through a period of time where she was writing letters to cancer survivors, encouraging them. And they just love her there at the facility where she's living.
I think a lot of people who look at someone who's lived to be 100 or older wonders, what's the secret? So what would you say after meeting with them? What are their secrets?
Well, I think first taking care of yourself. I mean, there was this common denominator that they do take care of themselves. They try to eat well, they try to sleep, they try to exercise when they can. But far more importantly is their zest for life.
And the right attitude. Attitude, attitude, attitude. Remember that.
All right, VOA's Julie Taboh, thanks for that heartwarming segment. There are about 53,000 people today in the U.S. alone who are in this age group, the centenarians, 100 years old or older.
Oh, my goodness, and I wouldn't worry about that wrinkle right there. It's okay. Anyway.